Welcome to another episode of Charles' Video Journey of Theater, where we will be discussing the matters that happened on September 29th, 2008, which was on a Monday. Today, we discuss the matters of Stanislavski and how he created, and another teacher that created given circumstances on what you have to ask yourself before you conduct a scene. For example, who am I, where am I, what surrounds me, and all that stuff. Which has really gotten me thinking, why do we have to know that? Well, I mean, why do we have to learn this stuff? Because, I don't know for any other people, but for me, they're kind of givens. Like, when you look at a scene and you look at the script, I mean, it kind of tells you where am I, and when you have to act it out, I mean, out of sheer nervousness, you would want to just look at the script and figure out where you are, what you're doing, and all that, right? So for me, it's not really something you have to learn. It's more like a given. I don't know how it is for other people. And an analogy I am going to use is music. I have been studying music theory for quite a while now, and because I have been playing piano too, so it's kind of a dual thing. You learn one, you learn the other. And in music, usually people have to learn theory to get good at it. But then, that's their theory anyways. But then you hear stories about people that has never looked at a sheet of music before, and they play beautifully, and they play it by ear. And I'm going to do another analogy here, and that's with music and music theory, as in relation to theater and theater theory. Okay, in music, I have been studying music theory for quite a while now, and before I have been studying music theory, just because it was a duo between piano and theory, so you kind of learn them both together. But now I'm learning it because I'm actually serious in my music studies. But anyways, in music theory, a lot of people learn it and they say that it's so... The reason that they learn it is because they would get better at music. But that's really not the case, especially for me. I learned music theory for a long time, and it didn't really help me. It only taught me how to put that A to D is a second. I mean, it's all mathematical like that, and didn't really help me. What helped me was to play by ear. And I think that's a thing that a lot of people is lacking. They keep on taking all these music exams and all that stuff, but they don't really, they do all these exams, but it doesn't really mean anything until you apply it to the piano and you actually experiment on the piano. The best piano players I know are the ones that do not need sheet music. They just play chords, and pretty soon it just flows through like an entire piece. They can just play something like that. And I think that's the best kind of piano playing there is. Not studying the theory of it, but actually just using your five senses. The same can be applied for mathematics too. And I wouldn't be saying this last year because I didn't really get this concept until this year. Because last year I'm pretty good at math. I get pretty high marks, but that's just because I have been really good at memorizing all those formulas and like applying the skills of how to solve equations. But then this year, Mr. Furugori really opened my eyes to what mathematics really is. And it's not really the solving of equations that's the important part. It certainly is the most time-consuming and most annoying part. But mathematics is really, why I don't really have a definition for it, but when you look at what they've been teaching you, it really fits together, and it fits together in graphs and cones and parabolas and all that stuff. And when you look at you have to be good at getting what all these concepts mean in your daily life, especially in physics, like the motion and time and graphs, before you can understand what math really means. And I mean, I'm not really good at it yet. I guess what I'm trying to say is that uh, this theory stuff is going to help me analyze a play easier, but it's not gonna um, it's not going to help me act. The second thing I want to talk about today on this class was that I found it kind of interesting and kind of inspiring too, to hear that somebody would go into a prison and observe the serial killers there, because they have to act as the part of a serial killer. Um, because I guess it kind of gave me the idea that actors have to be observant about what's around them, because oftentimes what you're acting as, the character, is somebody you have seen before, or you have traits in your character that you have seen in other people. And basically, you have to constantly look at other people's behavior. You have to ask the question of why, was motivated him to do that. Like, you read in the news um, about let's go back to serial killer, like a guy on a Greyhound bus, stabbing the guy next to him 30 times in the neck until you get, and you get the what, you get the who, you get the where, you get the when, but you're missing the why. So I guess as an observant person, you really have to ask yourself, keep asking yourself, what has motivated him to stab the guy in the neck? Same as any other case, I guess. So that's our show for today. Sorry about getting a bit off topic and going a bit ranty about stuff. But then, I just had auditions today, so I guess I'll talk about that in our next show. So I'll see you next time. Bye.